Good afternoon. Welcome to today's webinar on Office 365 Plans Explained. This is a revisit session from a previous one that we've done before. This is just to cover some new key points. My name is Martin. I'm going to be presenting today's webinar on this topic. So let's get started. So we always start with the SMS part of the webinar, which just covers a few key points about us. It's mainly we're here to help our customers in all areas of cloud services. We are here to step you through functionality that you may already have, and also provide any free of charge solutions where available to help you succeed in your business. And like I previously said, we are here to help with anything that you have or concerns that you may have, or anything you want to ask us regarding what solutions you may have for your business. We can provide that for that. So let's just get started with today's webinar on the topic of the plans explained. So what are the benefits of first of all, of Office 365 or Microsoft 365? So the benefits are basically the Microsoft Office 365 stack, as it's known, set of products, is a service that's always got the latest security updates. So because you're paying a monthly or annual subscription, you're always going to get the latest security updates that have become available. So for any things like exploits or any security issues, etc. You're also going to get up-to-date software, as in when new versions are released. You will eventually get them as they come out, as Microsoft release them. So currently 365 is operating on 2019, so that when, for example, when 2022 comes out, for example, that will basically you'll get that update. It's all bundled under 365, so to the end user it just looks like 365, but there is actually a version to that. It can be the plans that we have available, and there's several of different plans, can be used across different users. So if you've got some office staff that only need a mailbox, then there's plans for them. And then if you've got say supervisors that need a bit more, like software to download, for example, then you can have them on that. So you don't have to have everyone, like some providers, you have to have everything the same. With 365, you don't have to have that. You can have them spread out across different platforms, basically. One key note to mention, as of October last year, Office 2016 for the Mac actually ended support. If you're on Office 365, that won't affect you, because you're paying your annual subscription, and because it's always up to date, then basically you'll just get the latest updates. So that's just key mention there. 365 also has web access, so whether you want to access your email or whether you want to be able to access, if you've got a plan that comes, say, with SharePoint or OneDrive or even Office, and even Teams to a degree, you can actually access this 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. As long as you've got an internet connection and there's no issues with that, you can access that anywhere in the world. There's also add-on products available, which we will touch on towards the end of this webinar. They're just to basically to give you added functionality to 365, and you have access to 24/7 ticket support. So you can raise a ticket with our support team 24 hours a day, and that ticket will be dealt with for you accordingly. We also operate phone support between Monday and Friday, 9 to 5, excluding public holidays in the UK. The 365 service also offers you full admin control via the 365 Admin Center. As long as you're the global admin for your account, then you can gain full admin control to your account, just like you would do if you say had your own Exchange environment in your office. You'd have an admin for that. 365 is the same thing. As long as you've got global admin, you can basically access your full account on 365, whether it's the Exchange Admin Center, the Teams Admin Center, SharePoint, OneDrive, whichever you need access to make changes. As long as you've got the global admin, you can basically access that. You can also do things like add users and delete users and things like that as well. And compatibility is across Windows, Mac OS, Android, and obviously the web. So they are the key benefits. There is several more benefits to having 365 as well in your organization. They're just some of the key points that we just want to mention. So what plans are available? So what types are available? So currently there is basically two types, which is business plans and enterprise plans, and then there is some add-ons and additional subscriptions that you can take out. We're just going to briefly summarize and go through each plan now, basically. So we're going to start with Microsoft 365 business plans and basically what they are, what plans that you have available. So the initial one is 365 Business Basic, and this is the basics plan that comes with all the benefits of things like a 50 gig mailbox. You have things like calendar sharing. You can have SharePoint where you collaborate with documents with your staff. You can create shares on there that you can only share to certain departments. You can have department shares in there that are restricted for them only departments. You can create things like calendars in there, so you can have a holiday calendar in there, or you can have, if you had engineers on the road, you could put an on-call calendar in there, for example. We do have people that do use it that way. So there is a lot of functionality within SharePoint as well. You also get a terabyte of OneDrive storage. Now this is per user, so you have 5 users on Business Basic, they'll each get 1 terabyte of space, and that's an incredible amount of space for the average user. And you can store things like documents in there, photos, video files. Pretty much it's your own personal storage area that you can operate. You can share stuff from there as well, so you want to share things with people, you can do. But if you're going to be sharing documents that that you want to work on together, I'd recommend using SharePoint and creating a SharePoint library for doing something like that. But OneDrive is predominantly just where it's like a cloud storage, and you can access that on your PC, Mac, web, and on a mobile devices such as tablet or your phone. You can host online meetings as well with Teams, just like similar to what we're doing now. You can't do live events on the basic one, but you can do online meetings. So you can invite people to attend online video chat meetings and things like that, basically, and do the normal things that you can do in Teams, where you can send messages, chats, and things like that with external people and internal to your company as well. There's also a new feature called Microsoft List, which is more of a tracking system, which allows you to track information. And the best example for Microsoft List is if you've got a business where you have inventory and you want to track what you've got in stock, say in your warehouse or wherever you store your stock, basically, you can actually track that there, and it can that particular list can be shared with people, so you can have inventory staff that basically when something sells, you can obviously mark down you sold 1 item, and you can just track basically what stock you've got available. But you can also you can do basic projects in it as well. And it's just a great tool for tracking information within your organization. Like I said, this is accessed via the web. You do have access to Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote via the web only. You don't get any downloadable versions of the software. It's purely online only. And you get your email is protected against spam and malware using Microsoft's own inbuilt security software that comes with 365, which was originally Forefront. It's just Microsoft protection software, basically, and you get custom domain support. So you can add I've never seen an account that's hit the limit on how many domains that you can have in there. So I mean, you can add pretty much as many as you want within the system itself. Generally, most people only have 1 domain. You do get people that have different domains because they want to have different variations from .com to .co.uk, etc. But basically, you can just add your domain there, and all you got to do is once you add the domain, you just have to verify it to prove you own the domain. That's basically it. Once that's in place, then you can add your mailboxes. All 365 accounts, when you create them, do come with an on Microsoft address, so they will come with a default domain. But once you add your own custom domain to the system, that's effectively not used anymore. It just sits there in the background, and the only thing it's really used for is the SharePoint address. So when you go to SharePoint, you would usually say yourcompany.onmicrosoft.com or yourcompany.sharepoint.com, for example. That's what it would basically say. But other than that, that's all it's really used for. So that's the business basic plan that that Microsoft provide, and obviously we provide as well. So the next tier up would be 365 Business Standard. So this is basically is the same as Basic. You get all the same features you do with Basic. However, this time you get fully installed versions of Office, so you can download Office on up to 5 machines. So you can download Word, Excel, Outlook on your machine, have it on locally, and you've got multiple machines. These days people, I know a lot of people are working from home at the moment due to the pandemic, but you have people that work from home and the office. So you have a version installed at home and a version installed in the office. So that'll be completely covered, and you can have access to all your files using OneDrive because the files are synced across both devices or all the devices that you sign in with. Like I said, I mentioned about the 5 devices. You can also schedule and manage appointments with Bookings. Now, Bookings is only available on standard and higher. It's an incredible service, especially if you're a service where you rely on bookings, such as things like beauty salons, hairdressers, if you sell tickets to people, anything, that kind of thing, where you need to book something in, because what this basically does is it's a service that will allow you to configure it, and you can actually put you get like a web page that you go to, so customers can book their own things through it, and you can integrate it with things like Facebook, and you can put things like products on it with charges on them. And you can also enable it so the customer can go in and change it. So say it was a hairdresser's, you can't make an appointment, the customer can actually log in, or your client can log in and basically change that time. Bookings is an incredible service that Microsoft offer now, and it is getting better. They've just released a preview version of the next release, and it is becoming a very good piece of software that they've actually done. We use it ourselves here at SMS. Also as well, another feature that you can use, which is actually a new feature, is you can now host webinars using Teams. So within Teams, there is usually 3 events that you can log. So you can have an online meeting, which is between obviously you and your other staff, or a third party. Say one of your suppliers, for example, or you can do what's known as a live event, which is what we're doing now. A live event is basically where it's effectively a broadcast, a live broadcast to potential clients and existing clients, and you can do it for staff as well. And then you can obviously do now. There's a new webinar feature as well, where you can actually do a proper rich webinar where you can actually include other people inside the meeting, so you can effectively have a discussion between multiple people while you're broadcasting it to your client base, new customers, suppliers, etc. So the next plan would be premium. Now the premium is exactly the same as standard, but it comes with things like Azure Information Protection, which is the facility to encrypt emails and label confidential information such as your documents and files. So you can actually restrict access to certain files effectively using AI, as it's known as. And what this will basically do is it will allow you to classify documents as confidential and private, so prying eyes can't see it. Only people that you want to be able to see it can actually see it. You then got Intrude on it as well, which allows you to restrict access on machines, such as say you want to restrict certain users from accessing their machine externally. You can do things like that on it. You can force updates out on it. So over-the-air updates to Windows, for example. You can say only Windows machines can access your account, for example. You can it's more of like a policy-driven service where you can restrict certain aspects of what the user can do. Microsoft Defender is the next generation of antivirus and anti-spam, basically. And what this does is it does it in real time, and it kind of tries to protect against zero-day attacks effectively. So it actively scans your mails for potential threats. It also has a service in there that will also scan any links, and it will update the links to what's known as safe links. And what that'll basically do is when you click on the link, it will basically scan the link to make sure that it's not a dodgy link or it's rogue, and it will then either load the page or you'll get a warning to say this site's not safe, do not continue. And and that can all be set up through the admin center through policies, so you can restrict certain things. You also get an unlimited archive with it as well, which means that you can enable this service and you can set up what's known as retention tags. All these basically are is a label to say, I want 2 years worth of email to be moved into an archive. That's basically what that does, and you can set that up, and you can set up custom tags to do. Say you wanted 5 years worth of email to be archived, or 1 year, or 6 months. You can also within retentions, you can also set to delete stuff as well, but generally for archiving, you can actually move it, or you can just manually move it as well. That will appear within your inbox itself. So they are the business plans that are available. We're going to move on to enterprise plans now, and these are more obviously aimed at bigger organizations and a larger businesses basically. So the first plan that we do provide is 365 E3. Now E3 will provide you with a 100 gig mailbox as standard. It will also provide you with a license of Windows 10 Enterprise, so you do get a copy of Windows with it as well that you can install. You get a fully installed and always up-to-date versions of the Office apps, just like you do with standard. So you can install the software, so Outlook, Word, etc. Again, you get in tune with it. You also get Azure Active Directory, which is basically effectively where all your computers are, if you have printers connected to it. It's like a library of all your devices within your organization, but you get the premium one plan, which gives you a few more extra bits on there. So effectively, a lot of old school places would basically have an Active Directory server in their office. This is now in the cloud, basically in the Azure cloud. So that allows you to basically manage the devices that you have on your network within the Azure Active Directory. Windows Defender is basically the actual, you download like a client to your machine, and you can actually roll out antivirus updates, and you can do local chair basically. It's effectively like having an antivirus on your machine basically, but it's controlled via 365 to roll out the updates. That's basically what the Windows Defender is. You've got data loss prevention, which it says on the tin basically. It's a service within 365 that will retain your data. For example, there's like in-place holds and things like that, where you can basically hold data for a period of time. And also things like litigation hold, where you can, if you're say a legal organization or financial organization, you want to make sure that data doesn't get deleted. So to an end user, they delete the data, it will look like they've deleted it, but in reality it isn't deleted. It's actually with litigation hold turned on, it's actually held within the tenant of 365, but to the user they don't know that. So and it can be recovered for compliance reasons. You get SharePoint and Yammer with it. Yammer, for people that have not heard of it before, is effectively Microsoft's own social media site that you can interact with your staff and external bodies with it. You also get OneDrive. You get Power Apps and Power Automate. These are just services that allow you to automate your business, your business basically, and create apps to automate work processes and workflows. And you also get Microsoft Advanced Threat Analysis, which is just analysing potential threats that could be targeting your organisation within 365. So the next plan would be E5, and that's basically get everything the same as E3, but this one now is sort of like a beefier package. You actually get an actual phone system, but you will need to take out minutes in order to use it, but you can have there is a phone system with it. You get Power BI Pro, which is basically analytics. So it's used for basically analysing statistics, things like that. You get audio conferencing, which ties in with the phone system. You also get 365 Advanced Threat Protection Plan 2, which gives you more. This is basically, it's actually known as it's actually known as Office 365 Defender now, and it's the same as Plan 1, but with Plan 2 you get more. You get a live threat map that will show you where all the live threats are, and you get a lot more analysis and reporting on threats within your organization that could be potentially coming into your organization. So it's a lot more advanced to the version of the Plan 1 version basically. You get which the next one obviously they're actually the same product. That's the new name for it basically. You get advanced compliance, and you also get advanced security and protection. So you get a lot of reporting. You can do a lot of you can set up a lot of advanced security policies within there and protection and things like that. So it is more of a beefy one. This one's really designed for people that want this level of service, but also bigger organizations that want to have the best security and the best service, best mailbox and 365 service that's available basically. So the one that's an independent one, which is Exchange Online, this does come under enterprise, purely because that's just the way that Microsoft do it. So online Exchange Online basically comes in two forms. You have Plan 1 and Plan 2. Plan 1 is what the majority of most like say for example a one-man or one-woman band basically would take out. So basically if they don't need things like SharePoint and OneDrive etc, they just want a mailbox. So you get a 50 gig mailbox with it as standard. You can connect to supported versions of Outlook and mobile devices. So if you've got a copy of Outlook and you want to use an Exchange Online mailbox, you can do that. It will fully work. It's also it also has IMAP and POP enabled as well. But to be honest with you, if you're going to be having an Exchange Online Plan 1, we'd recommend that you connect via Exchange because you're going to get the full benefits of things like calendar and contact syncing. You get calendar sharing with it. You also get the protected by the Premier anti-malware and antivirus protection, and yet again it does support custom domains as well. So Plan 2 is basically the same, but you get the same benefits. However, you get an increased size on your mailbox. You get 100 gig mailbox as standard, and you get an unlimited storage if the user's in-place archive. This is basically the archive that I previously mentioned. It's very similar to that. You can set up tags that will basically move data from basically from your mailbox A to B, so you can basically move from your mailbox into the archive, and that's basically an unlimited plan. And you also get some data loss prevention policies as well, such as the litigation hold, where you can effectively turn that on a mailbox, and if somebody deletes something, it will appear to them as being deleted, but in reality it hasn't been deleted. It's stored in like I suppose an invisible recycle bin, effectively, that doesn't get deleted. It just stays there basically. So that's effectively what the Exchange Online plans are. So basically, one thing that people might say is, well, what's the differences between business and enterprise? Well, basically, the primary difference between them both is basically the number of users that you can have. So on a business plan, you can have up to 300 users within the tenant itself. With enterprise plans, this can be shared to effectively an unlimited number of users, because that's designed for big, larger organizations to corporate organizations where you have hundreds of staff basically. So they're the two main differences. It's just the amount of users that you can basically have on the actual plan itself basically. So here are some add-on and additional subscriptions that you might want to take out. So say for example you take a Plan 1 out but you want advanced threat protection, you can add that. We can add that for you, Plan 1 or Plan 2. We can also do Exchange on archiving. However, if you're going to want in the archiving, we'd recommend, if you're going for one of the online plan versions, we'd probably recommend going for Plan 2 because that comes with it. You can add Azure Information Protection, which was the encryption and the labeling system. You can add Intune, which is the policy control system, where you can restrict what the users can have access to. You can also get project subscription, but project is a individual program where you can actually track projects. So for project management, that kind of thing. You then get Visio, that is a workflow system, so you can actually create workflows, and there is different versions of that that are available. You can also get, if you just want to come to SMS and say, well, I want to buy Office, but I want to buy the business version of the Office software. That's all I want. I don't want a mailbox because I don't need one. We can sell you the Office software. We've got that available. You can buy that only where you get Word, Excel, Outlook, OneNote with it. There's also add-on services to the business plan, which is Business Voice, which is effectively a phone system. So it's a cloud-based phone system that gives you get minutes with it, and you can effectively assign a phone number to it, and you can have a full phone system. So you say you want business standard, for example, you can add that to it, and you've got a mailbox and a phone line into your organization. You can also add CRM as well, which is customer relationship management, so you can effectively track sales, etc., and potential sales, potential leads, that kind of thing. Power BI, which is the analytics, and there's many more other services that are available in 365. Microsoft are adding new services all the time. The list goes on, but they are some of the additional add-ons and subscriptions that you can choose to take out if you wish to. If you need to discuss any of them, then you just give us a bell and we can go through that with you. So these are just some of the questions that we sometimes get asked when people call support, and they just basically ask. So as I previously mentioned, can you mix 365 plan? Yeah, you can. You can mix them between business and enterprise in the same tenant. We have many customers that do that, and there's no issues with that at all. Can I access 365 using, how can I access it basically? As mentioned before, you can access it via Windows and Mac, iOS and web, and also all the Linux users out there, because there is several of you out there, there's several thousands of you out there, you can now use Teams in Linux. There's no Office version as of yet, but there is a Teams app available for Linux, so you can use Teams if you wish. So can I have more than one global admin? Now, this is a good point, because obviously you've got a large company and you've got a set of IT people, then you might want to give them more global admin. Now, we recommend keeping this under 5, which is what Microsoft recommend, because if you had more than 5 global admins, it will actually warn you when you try and add the 6th to say you've already got 5 global admins. So what we recommend is you can either set up, obviously there's many ways that you can do this. If you want more than 5, you can set up specific groups and assign people the certain role permissions in them, and then they can sign in and they're inside that particular admin group. But what we recommend is if you've got 6 people and you want them all to be admin, then we'd probably recommend that you ideally just have the one and then give them access to the areas that they need access to. So you can actually say, well, Joe Bloggs wants to be an exchange administrator, but he doesn't actually need full global. Well, you can assign that role. You can say, well, he's an exchange administrator, and then you can say, well, Jane Doe needs access to just Teams admin. You can assign the Teams admin role. That is available there. So there is a few available roles, and you can configure custom ones as well, which goes into more advanced permissions basically. So another one is on a business plan, how many people can host a meeting or video call? So that is a common question as well. Well, up to 300 people, that's what Microsoft recommend. You can have up to 300 people on a call without any issues at all. Obviously, as long as you've got the appropriate bandwidth, that's not an issue at all. And how can I purchase 365? Just call our friendly and helpful sales staff on 01925 818 448, and they can discuss any requirements that you have. If you need to speak to anyone technically, you can actually call the support team on 01925 818 252, and they will actually go through any questions or queries that you have, and before you consider purchasing anything, so we can answer anything that you may have or any concerns that you have. So just to finish off, how does SMS fit in? Well, SMS has been around since 2006, and we've actually selling mailboxes for many years, and since then on Exchange, and in the early days we used to use things like Zimba and things like that. We now predominantly only do Microsoft. We are a Microsoft house, and we literally just sell mailboxes to people on either 365 or hosted Exchange. We are trying to be everything in the cloud provider, so we do provide other services, not just 365. We also provide things like backup services. So if you want a service to back up your 365 mailbox and other services within 365, we do sell backup services now. We also sell advanced anti-spam and archiving services that are separate from 365. We also sell things like web hosting, domain names, and we are adding new services all the time. So if you go to our website, simplymailsolutions.com, that's where we'll be putting all our new products when they come available. And we are trying to look for services that will integrate with the 365 stack, so it makes it easier for the end user and your business to be more productive and going forward. We are fully UK based, so we actually do talk to people either via the phone. If you want to call us, that's not a problem. Or you can raise a ticket with us if you're an existing customer. If you're not an existing customer, then just pick up the phone and give us a call, and we'll be happy to help. And all the systems that we use, all the staff here at SMS, including the support staff, have got experience with and have worked on. So we are used to working in remote locations. Obviously, in the last 18 months with the pandemic, the way it's been, a lot of people have been working from home, us included. So we know what challenges that companies have with this. So we are here to help if you do have any issues with any of the products that we provide you, or any products that you're looking at taking out. And just one final point, we are here to help and provide you the best solutions for your business going forward. So that is going to wrap up today's webinar. I hope you found it informative, and I would like to thank everyone for watching. If you need to know any more information, or you want to give us a call, the numbers are on screen now, including our web address. And we also are doing these webinars every fortnight on a Wednesday, usually around 2 o'clock. And we've set up a YouTube channel where you can actually go to and see previous webinars that we've done, and also other videos that we've done as well that we've been producing ourselves. So if you go to if you go to smstv.simplyms.com, that will take you straight to the YouTube channel where you can actually view previous ones. Once again, my name is Martin. I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will hope to speak to you all soon. And take care and stay safe.